Welcome back to the finals of our mid-season showdown here. It's been a lovely day in Lakeland, Florida.
It has been.
It's actually very pleasant outside. I'm sorry to those of you in spring
Anywhere
conditions.
else.
Yeah, I mean, shorts weather, t-shirts weather. It's been fantastic. Alas, for the last time, I'm Adam Darkot, joined by my good friend Will Collins. Are you actually going to play VGC ever, Will?
When we go to Switch, maybe.
Okay, no, that's actually a pretty good metric to go for. Anyway, our finals is going to be Emily versus Don. I have got the confirmation that Emily won her semi-final, so what was our round 2 matchup is also going to be our finals matchup. I don't think either of us want to dwell on it too much.
No.
We'll throw them right into the game as soon as they're ready and listening, paying attention, all the good stuff. It's been a good matchup so far. A lot of Palkia, a lot more Palkia than I was expecting to talk about today.
Yeah, more than the national metric would serve.
I mean, I think all bets are off right now.
Yeah.
When we've got basically the last weekend of Moon Series, that kind of fond farewell to Moon. Not everyone's favorite. I don't know why, but I loved it.
No, I think a lot of people are just looking forward to Ultra. They want all those tools back at their disposal. I know me, personally, not a huge fan of the Primals, but some people do like the team-building strengths that they offer.
My favorite thing about Ultra Series is the prevalence of Mega Beedrill.
Oh, man. This again?
On the ride down, it took us like an hour to get here, and I think we spent a good 30 minutes of it discussing Mega Beedrill and what numbers it hits.
Yeah, and whether or not to run Drill Run or Fell Stinger.
Fell Stinger is definitely the play. For those of you at home, obviously you take a bug move, U-turn, X Scissor is your choice. I recommend X Scissor. Then you go with the Poison Jab, and then Fell Stinger. Anything under like 30%, easy pickings +3. Let's go, baby. Alas, that's not what we're playing today. The teams we've seen before, Don's team on the left there, Emily's team on the right. Certainly some interesting and unique choices. One thing Don did talk about after their second round match was his confusion at how Tapu Lele on Emily's side was moving before Palkia. And then he realized he was trying to roar numerous times. So maybe something he's going to consider in this final, not roaring as often.
Especially since we know Emily's Lele has Ally Switch, and making that prediction can be hard and oftentimes debilitating if you call it wrong.
Yeah, it's really big risk for him to make that incorrectly. So we will see how that shakes out. Don going with the aggressive lead of Kartana and Kyogre against Emily's lead of Tapu Lele and Palkia. Ally Switch Trick Room, anyone?
We saw this before. We saw Emily being totally comfortable leading her Palkia into Kyogre, and it paid off for her every time.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If she just attacks in Trick Rooms, she does well. If she Ally Switches in Trick Rooms, she can do well. Like Don is literally flipping coins at this moment to decide where he launches his attacks. If he gets it right, he could be in a great position. If he gets it wrong, he's going to be in an absolute shocker of a position. So it's not too much fun. No Ally Switch, though. Kartana just starts out with a Leaf Blade.
And it's going to do a lot of damage to that Palkia.
Yeah, the Palkia going well under half. The Side Shock, though, will land on that Kyogre. Kyogre will Thunder immediately, so shutting down that potential Trick Room right off the bat. And maybe the Ally Switch would have been the better play there. Palkia did move after everything, so clearly trying to Trick Room. And all Emily managed to do was get some damage down. Yeah,
I think Emily attacked into the Kyogre thinking it might go for a Water Spout, but Water Spout certainly would not have guaranteed a KO on that 4 times resistant Palkia.
Yeah, there was no way that Water Spout was going to be the play there, and the threat of Thunder way too good to pass up for Don there. Even if you just switch something in, still doing a whole lot of damage. So smart play by Don there, keeping the pressure on right off the bat and shutting down the potential Trick Room play.
Yeah, and I think Don is fine here. Palkia's gone. Kartana's in against Lele and Serena. He's going to switch out that Kyogre, so maybe it comes back in under Tailwind. And I think he's just in a very strong position here. Yeah,
Kartana just continuing to Leaf Blade. Will connect with the Tapu Lele. Will bring it down to its Focus Sash. Tapu Lele will be able to respond quite quickly with the Moonblast. Will land on Emily's Tapu Lele, but not enough there. The high jump kick also connects on the Kartana. That won't get the knockout, though, bringing it very, very low. But a lot of damage exchange there for 0 knockouts.
Unfortunately, Serena, lacking the same type of attack bonus on that high jump kick, cannot secure the knockout against Kartana's sky-high defense stat.
Yeah, that's the big problem for it. Like, it's a great coverage move, but sometimes it just falls short on the numbers where some of its other options may be a little bit better. Like, it's not as threatening as something like the Power Whip is on a Kyogre. It's just a little bit short. But a lot of damage exchanged, never a bad thing.
And with the Psychic terrain up, we've seen this before, Dawn's opponents do not have access to those priority moves. So this low health Kartana is not going to be scared of something moving before it can.
Yeah, it's always going to be the first thing. Tapu Lele does get to move first though by benefit of ally switching in this one. So there's going to be a change of place. Leaf Blade that will be heading towards that Serena this time. Takes that a whole lot better, but Psyshock is going to follow up that left-sided slot, just double targeted. That Serena is holding on and will land another high jump kick on this Kartana, so we'll level up the Pokemon count, but again, so much damage swapped over.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate miss on Don's end. I don't think he expected anything to survive that double target, and Serena showing that it does have natural bulk.
Yeah, this means Don's going to be able to bring in his Palkia, though, and the Palkia is in a great position right now. You know, as long as it doesn't try and roar, it just needs to hit attacks, and that's going to be enough to pick up knockouts on both of these low-health Pokemon.
Yeah, as long as it can hit and attack, both of these Pokemon should go down. Don has shown that both of his Pokemon are quicker.
Yeah, well, he is going to make sure that something hits. Maybe overkill here, Don, but fair play to you, mate. If you want a Hydro Vortex to guarantee the knockout, be my guest.
I think it's a safe move, though. He can't throw out Spatial Rend because if the Lele ally switches into it, it'll avoid it. And this way, you guarantee that your Hydro Pump isn't going to miss. If there's a switch in, you'll knock it out. And the Kyogre is already KO'd, or the Palkia is already KO'd. So you don't need, like, a nuke at any point. So I think this is just safe.
Yeah, that makes sense. As long as you get one, then hopefully you'll pick up the other kind of easily with this follow-up Psyshock. So easy pickings there as Dom puts himself in a 3v1 position in the early portion of this set.
Yeah, and here we're going to see Stakataka. And Stakataka, now of course, the Water Z move isn't here, but if Dawn manages to land a Hydro Pump in the rain, that should be writing on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, the Stakataka is going to be moving last. It's going to be trying to deal damage to 3 Pokemon. One Hydro Pump and a Psyshock should do it. And
yeah,
as long as it hits, even 2 Psyshocks will probably, you know, put some pressure on. It does avoid the Hydro Pump. Tapu Lele will taunt it though, making sure it cannot get itself in that beneficial Trick Room position as the Z move comes out in retaliation. So Emily isn't going to let this one go without trying.
And I can almost guarantee that this Z move is going to go directly into that Palkia.
Yeah, you want to see if it will knock it out.
Yeah, and if it does, Kyogre comes back in. And if Kyogre doesn't miss a Z move, or a Hydro Pump, we're good.
Or it just could hit decent health water spells.
It's pretty low.
Try it anyway.
Yeah.
Fight back with the weakling ones. Yeah, I mean, the taunt wasn't worthwhile there. Palkia will get felled. The attack boost is going up, but the big problem is, you know, you've just got to hit attacks.
Well, this could be relevant. We know Dawn's Lele has Psyshock, and Stakataka has a significant defense stat. So it's resisted, high defense. There's not much I think Lele can do here. Moonblast is probably a better option here, especially with terrain going down. You have to hope that this Kyogre's attack hits. If this Kyogre's attack does not hit, Dawn is in an extremely poor position.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dawn, a little bit of benefit there. You know, he is going to be in the rain again. It did just end, so the Palkia buying that time. So he was guaranteed the rain. That's certainly going to help out a little bit. Tapu Lele moves first. We'll connect the Moonblast. We'll see how much that does. It could be relevant. That's a good amount, but not enough. Kyogre's Hydro Pump will connect, though. It's in the rain. I don't think this is going to be too much problem. Easily fallen down. So Don avenging that game or round 2 loss by opening these finals with a win.
Yeah, Dawn getting slightly punished for using a Z move on the very low health Pokemon early and not having it for Stakataka, but Kyogre showing that it's willing to pull its weight, it's going to hit those Hydro Pumps, and we're going to close out that game.
Yeah, I mean, this Kyogre, having 2 different Water-type attacks, always very, very important. You know, some people go Origin Pulse, some people go Hydro Pump for that big hit, and I think both of them have their merit. I think as long as you have an option, you're rarely going to be in a bad position.
Yeah, for sure. I think The drawback you have with choice specs is that you can't change your move, you can't use protect, but on the upside, it allows you to have 4 different coverage attacks. So like here, being able to use that Thunder, having those 2 water type attacks, you can kind of switch out and come back, strategize what you need to do, change up what you're doing, close out the game.
Yeah, and I think that's always going to be a smart play there. Dawn seemed in a pretty commanding position. I think if Emily wants to get back in this set, the key thing she's going to have to do is try and set up that Trick Room again.
Yeah.
Maybe make that ally switch play, and if she does, and Dawn calls it, we're in for a very brisk game, I think.
Yeah, she definitely needs to protect her Palkia. Her Palkia has been MVP in every set I've ever watched her play.
For about 3 years now.
Yeah, for about 3 years. So she needs to make sure she's protecting it, because if she lets it go down on turn 1 like that, and she doesn't get the Trick Room off, or she doesn't have that defensive wall doing that chip damage, she's faltering. She's running out of steam. She's not being able to close.
Yeah, the Palkia has always been a signature of Emily's play, so, you know, if you're Dawn, you're again given that choice. Okay, she's going to try and set up Trick Room. Do I catch the ally switch? You know, she didn't ally switch last game and she lost. Does that mean she's going to ally switch this game and win? Well, you got to call that right now. It's exactly the same lead from Dawn. No need to change it up.
And I think it makes sense. It's his highest octane lead, and we're going to see Palkia and Lele on Emily's side this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Dawn, it's time to go for it. It's time to try and hit that. And, I mean, at worst, you knock out the Tapu Lele, right? I mean, could be worse at that juncture. We'll see exactly what they both decide to go for. You know, it becomes very much mind gamey, and like who is able to make the right call on turn 1. Because I do genuinely think this game comes down to turn 1 so much.
Yeah, I don't think Emily Trick Rooms without an ally switch here, but I do think there's the potential that she goes on the offensive instead and tries to clean out that Kartana before it can pick up too much momentum.
Yeah, well, we'll see exactly what Emily's going to go for here. In a very brief second. Don's already locked his moves in, so he must be confident in that decision making. No ally switching here, and he has read into it. I think that Leaf Blade will connect with the Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele on Emily's side immediately taunting back. Can't taunt in retaliation, and Trick Room will go up for Emily, so ooh, Don kind of spreading his options there, betting on all the horses, and none of them coming in for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Emily's Lele getting that taunt means that Don can't taunt and prevent the Trick Room. And honestly, I think Don needed to double up on one thing instead of trying to spread. Oftentimes, if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to close it out on either one. And so he just needed to all in. Even if he just takes out the Lele, he at least has the Lele to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that he can get out of it. With this Trick Room up, though, he is going to be playing a little bit safer. I guess saving that Kartana for when it's out of Trick Room, that is going to be very, very important to him.
And I guess this is fine. It means the Stakataka doesn't have a free switch. It means you switch in Kyogre, and it's not being threatened by a Continental Crush. And Kyogre is going to tank this not as well as I would have liked, but
yeah,
fairly well.
I'd have thought better. That said, though, the Tapu Lele on Don's side is able to move first and land this Moonblast. But it looks like the Tapu Lele on Emily's side will Moonblast in retaliation. That's going to head towards the Kyogre, and it's going to take it.
Yeah.
So it is one of those switch-ins that, hey, it's come in, it's bought some time. And the Palkia on Emily's side, I think, is forced now to deal with this Tapu Lele.
Yeah, this Kyogre is not going to be able to Water Spout, but the Lele is putting on a lot of pressure. Emily's Lele is low, Emily's Palkia is low. If Dawn can put on pressure and wait out this Trick Room, Kartana is going to come in and clean up this game.
Yeah, that's going to be the key way for Don to win this, is get through the Trick Room, don't lose too much, try and get bits of damage down where you can, and then tidy up when the time is right.
If Dawn has Kartana out when this Trick Room runs out, he'll be able to knock out Palkia before it can reach Trick Room.
Yeah, I mean, and it'll also be able to put down so much pressure on stack attackers, which is going to be key. There is a double switch here for Don, though. Interesting way to try and buy time in the Trick Room, but maybe trying to switch in, take one of those Hydro Pumps really, really well. As Palkia over on Emily's side is going to Spatial Rent, and that will land on the Kartana.
Ooh, and that's a critical hit.
Yeah, I mean, the critical hit, always an option with Spatial Rend. It just has that increased critical hit chance.
Yeah, Kartana normally doesn't take that extremely well, but taking the crit Spatial Rend and then Palkia falling to a Moonblast, I think this is a catastrophe for Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, that turn 1 has decided the game. He's just not able to answer this Palkia properly in any way, shape, or form. I think switching the Kartana in a little bit brave. But, you know, he's got Kyogre. I'm fishing here. I really don't see a way that he gets back in this.
The Kyogre's shown Hydro Pump without Origin Pulse. It doesn't have a strong enough spread move here. Lele is great, but Lele's not going to be able to take both of them at the same time, not without Dazzling Gleam. And we haven't seen Dazzling Gleam Lele since 2017.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen the Dazzling Gleam Lele. Don's going to forfeit and essentially send the ending of this very small, very local, very fun tournament to a best of 1.
Yep. We're going into Game 3 in the finals. This is always the highest stake game in any tournament. Both players' tournament lives on the line, all of the CP and chasing that Worlds invite on the line, prizing on the line. I think Don is going to want to clean up his play there. He made a crucial mistake round 1. I think Emily is going to want to do more of the same. She's going to hone in on getting that Trick Room on turn 1. However, if it means protecting and then setting up turn 2, if it means ally switching, if it means just saying, hey, I'm going to Trick Room in your face again and hope you screw up.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that option. We're going to see if Don can maybe commit to a play turn 1, make that choice, make that commitment, and capitalize on it. I think, you know, he would have been a little better in the Trick Room if the Tapu Lele was down. So interesting play, and once again, he's probably going to be faced with that decision. Will Ally Switch come into play here? She's not Ally Switched once in turn 1 in the first 2 games. So this could be the turn to mix it up. Don's got comfortable.
Yep.
Maybe time to crack it out.
Yeah, I think he misread into the Ally Switch turn 1, which means he's less likely to make that call again, which means it's probably the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I think as well turn 1, it wasn't that he misread the Ally. It was very strange, kind of spreading the options, like a spread bet, essentially. Say, well, if it moves there, I'll hit it.
And then I'll taunt.
But I'll also taunt if you don't. It didn't really make sense to me in that regard. So I'd be curious to see what can happen. Emily's just sticking with that same lead every time. Feels so confident about it. Don, Kartana, Palkia this time. Definitely a change-up every single time. And I don't know if this one's arguably better or worse.
I think this opens up Emily. It's almost baiting Emily into a more offensive start. It's like, hey, I want you to attack my Palkia with your Lele while I double into your Palkia.
Right. And I think that's going to be a brave move. You know, he did learn in game 2 that if he tries to roar, he's just going to get knocked out anyway. So we'll see how he goes for it, see how he tries to maneuver in this situation. But I mean, as long as there's Kartana and something on the field, that Palkia on Emily's side of the field is always going to get knocked out. Kartana's Leaf Blade is heading towards the Tapu Lele, not getting the knockout. Spatial Rend into that Tapu Lele as well. So predicting the ally switch, it wasn't happening this time. There is going to be a big Moonblast as Palkia Trick Room.
So it makes sense that he would predict the ally switch here. With Spatial Rend being an option, it makes ally switching a juicy target to move your Lele into the position where Spatial Rend will be. And Emily said, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And Don got punished for his read.
Not at all. Yeah, he went all in. I mean, we did say, or I said at least, go all in, make a decision. Don't do that one. That's actually the wrong decision.
But yeah, Emily showing that she has a very strong grasp on how her team operates and what she needs to do to dismantle her opponent's strategy.
Yeah, well, we are going to see the Kartana leave the field. We did see it get knocked out by a critical hit Spatial Rend. So Whimsicott's going to take that a lot better by being completely immune to it. There we see that interaction occur. But Tapu Lele on Emily's side, free to just keep on Moonblasting. Yeah,
Don's Palkia is going to go down here. It's slower in Trick Room, and so Lele's going to be able to kill that Palkia once again, as we've seen so many times before.
Yeah, and that's what it keeps doing. The Tapu Lele on Don's side coming into play right now. Yeah, it's not going to be able to get hit by the Spatial Rend, but Emily's still in a position right now where she can just start Hydro Pumping stuff for damage.
Yeah, for sure. I think Emily here wants... honestly, I think you're right. I think... Oh, and here, we're going to see the Sunny Day. And I think this is a good call from Dawn. Make that Hydro Pump a non-factor, kind of make Palkia a non-factor, and start dinging away at Emily's team.
Yeah, I mean, you've essentially neutered the Palkia now. It's not able to do anything. But that being said, you know, if you're completely bringing it out of the game and you're then still targeting it, like both of the moves that turn were there to deal with Palkia.
Yeah.
And neither of them dealt with it properly. Like, yeah, it's not doing damage, but it's still sat on the field. It's still going to start chipping you with stuff. And now it's going to have a spatial Ren target.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Dawn again half measures. He's doing one thing with one Pokemon and not following up with the other Pokemon, and it's setting him behind in momentum.
Yeah, I mean, Don hovering the forfeit button. I think he knows what's coming for him in this game. He's already done. Actually stood up from his chair already as he concedes the match to Emily already. Trick Room set up, that turn 1, so essential, and our mid-season showdown here in Lakeland is complete. We are going to have a champion in Emily Golub. Fantastic play with her favourite Palkia team, always been a favourite of Emily's, and she's going to go home with 50 championship points, her selection of some fine prizes provided by our tournament organiser, and a good ending to the Moon Series.
Yeah, taking that set 2-1, showing that she knows what she's doing with her favorites, showing that she has a handle on this format, put a big ol' rubber stamp of approval on it, and move into Ultra with momentum going into Daytona Regionals.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a complete mix-up. We've got a whole new set of Pokemon for the Ultra Series, but, you know, in those chasing points kind of situations, looking for those World Championship invites and all of that. That's got to feel good. 50 championship points really quickly adds up.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see what both of these players do going into Daytona. Both of them last Florida Regionals showed that they had a unique take on the metagame with their teams, and it brought them to Top Cut. So it would be nice to see some locals kind of like put their own flavor back into it and go into this format and seal another Top Cut for Florida players.
Yeah, Florida players, we're not the biggest region, but we do try. I think it's the best you can ask for from us. Alas, that will conclude our broadcast for the day. It's been a short one. It's been a fun one.
Has been.
Thank you very much for joining me, Will.
Thank you.
I know that Daytona Regional is getting streamed, so if you're into Ultra Series, make sure to check that one out as well over on Critical Hit GG. If you're a trading card game player, next week is the Denver Regional Championships. We get to see some, what are we on now? Sun Moon through to Team Up.
Team Up, yep.
Standard. So if you're into that, if you want to see some Zapdos, Jirachi, Pikachu Zekrom, all kinds of craziness.
Blacephalon, Zoroark, all kinds of decks in the format right now.
Anyway, that'll be on Critical Hit TCG next weekend, so tune into that if you're keen for the trading card game and other such antics. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.